G'day and thanks for stopping by the Breathless blog. My name's Brody Grogan. As you can see, this here is Dudley. Hello, mate. And this is the crazy idea of me presenting something about my photography straight after I do a run. Hello, mate. You might just need to go over there and sit down, I think. Come on, mate. I've only got one take. Help a brother out here. Come on, sit down. Sit. Lie down. Down. The amount of times people tell me never work with children and animals, right? Well, here's a perfect example. Mate, if you're going to be in, you're going to be in. Come over here. Come on. Here. Down. Down. Good boy. This week, finally, I want to have a chat about, I don't know, probably the craziest couple of weeks I've had for a long while, and just in terms of trying to get on top of any workflow and editing and shoots, which has just been terrific. But in that space of time, I've also managed to have a listen to a couple of books. Now, I'm not the world's greatest reader. In fact, I really struggle to find time to sit down and actually read through a physical book. But I do love audiobooks and podcasts. So wherever I'm driving or sometimes I'm editing, I'll flick something on and have a good listen. And I want to share a couple of books with you that I have enjoyed immensely over the last couple of weeks that have actually, while they're quite different in a sense, they've fed into the same theme, if you like. Now, the first book is called The Resilience Project by Hugh and Cuylenburg, and the second book is called The Happiest Man on Earth by an elderly gentleman, actually he's 101 years old, called Jaku. Now, while both of these books, like I said, are quite different, the common theme that they have, and I'm not going to spoil what they're exactly both about, I will leave both links to an Audible link in the notes below, but both books tie into the theme of gratitude and being grateful for what we have in life. Now, I'm the first to put my hand up and say that, gratitude as a theme within my life is probably something that I take for granted, more than I should, because I've got so much to be grateful for within my life, within my family, but within my business and my passion for photography. And through both of these books, I obviously was digesting them at a personal level and, trying to connect with the story that they're both presenting. But as most things do, they sort of ended up just tinkering and relating back to my passion for photography. So I'm thinking, okay, not only how can I be a better person by listening to these books and absorbing what they're talking about, but also how can I be a better photographer? Which leads me to a couple of things today about, I suppose, gratitude and what we can be grateful for, and how that actually links into us taking better photos and being better storytellers with what we're doing. And I think the first thing that stands out to me with reading these books and listening to them is that, to sit where we are right now, whatever we're doing in terms of our life or our photography, I think there's great value in being grateful for the story that's led us to where we sit right now. So grateful for the past that we've had and the story that builds us to be who we are at this exact moment. Now, again, I'm upfront in saying that my life has actually been, quite blessed and quite privileged in a lot of senses. I've had some wonderful opportunities and I've been, loved and supported all the way through my life. But in listening to not only these two gentlemen who write these books, but I suppose opening my eyes and ears to a lot more storytelling, even just through the nature of my work, is that I think having a level of gratitude for the experiences in our life are actually really, really quite powerful. And they influence the way that we as creative people or photographers actually tell our stories. I think I might have mentioned it before in a blog, but quite often our photographs say more about the 6 inches behind the camera as opposed to what's in front of it. We are the sum of all of our parts and stories, and the way that we view the world is unique, in that, no one else can, exactly view particular things within what's in front of us as the way that we do, the way you do, the way I do, even my little mate Dudley here, the way he does. So I think it's important that we embrace that. And I know everyone's experienced some grief or loss or hardships and triumph and joy and different experiences, but I think that's a strength of ours. So I think that's something that we can be grateful for, and use our ups and downs to actually be a strength of ours for our photography. Second to that, I think it's important that we have some gratitude for where we are right now in our journey. And whether you're starting out your business or you've been at it for 10 years or like me for, a handful of years, whether you're a hobbyist, whether you're, once owned a camera, was in love with photography, but haven't looked at it for 30 years. I think there's, again, some power in us just actually being grateful for what we have and the opportunities that we have right now. I'm acutely aware of the great privilege and honor that it is, for people, or for myself, or when people ask me to either photograph their family or their wedding or something that's significant to them, a day of sport, because I know that by having some gratitude for what I'm going to go and photograph and connecting with the people that I am working with and photographing, is that, my work will be all the stronger for it. And in turn, the very purpose of why people are engaging me to work for them and with them in capturing a story and telling a story will be so much better. I'm so grateful that I get to work in an industry day in, day out, and a profession and a passion that actually means something. And I probably once upon a time wasn't as grateful for that. Once I probably did take that for granted more than maybe I should have, in that, I'll put it to you right now that any time that we pick up a camera and go somewhere, whether it's for a landscape purpose, to go and photograph a kid's birthday party, I know photographers out there, they've made a business around photographing childbirth, for example. Even if you're just walking, into the park to go and, take photographs of autumn leaves or whatever it is, that's such a privileged position to be in. Giving that not everyone either has the means to own a camera, or not everyone has the safety of a neighbourhood to potentially walk down the street without the fear of being, at risk or in harm's way. So I think any time that we can go and do that, let's enjoy what's actually in front of us for the sake of what it is. I know I've also mentioned at times that the frustrations of, when we travel and go to amazing places, that, we often self-sabotage and go, oh, well, I would have taken a better photo, but it was the wrong time of day. There was too many people. There wasn't enough people. It was too cloudy. There wasn't enough clouds. Whatever it might be, rather than actually just stepping back and appreciating what's in front of us. So I think that element of gratitude that we can have, just for the very craft and passion and the emotional investment that we're offering into our photography, is just crucial. I think the other thing that we can be grateful is that with our photography, it actually gives us a voice, and there's no real right or wrong, but it's your voice, and it's your ability to stand and tell a story the way you want to tell it. And I mentioned before about our life experiences offering a framework or shaping the way we view things. From a technical perspective, I believe that they absolutely both hold hands together. Even in terms of the way you interact with your subjects, or the way you use space within a composition of a photograph, either to display something like intimacy or loneliness, or something like that. I think that the emotions that we feel within ourselves ultimately shape the way that we tell that story and we project our voice as a photographer. So I think that's something that we don't always give enough credit for, and enough self-love really for us, just as as someone who creates personal work but then goes and shares it with the world. I don't think we often give ourselves enough credit for who we are and where we've come from. So I think, before I even went for a run today, I wasn't exactly sure about what I wanted to speak about, and really that's probably all I can think about sharing. But if by you, I guess, watching this, if the two things that you take away are two great reads and great books to go and have a listen to, but also just a little reminder and a stop and a check about, hey, you know what, every time we pick up a camera or we walk outside our house to go and photograph something, be it as a hobbyist or professionally, that's actually something really meaningful and special, and I think it's something we can be grateful for. I'm certainly trying to be more aware of that and keeping a journal where every night before I go to bed, rather than scrolling through Facebook and Instagram and social media, I actually open up my notes and just write down 2 or 3 things that have gone well for me during the day, something to be grateful for. And in the 2 or 3 weeks I've been doing that, I can vouch that it absolutely has shifted some of my thinking about the things and the people, more importantly, in my life that I can be grateful for. So yeah, I think that's enough for this afternoon. I'm absolutely grateful that I get to photograph the wedding of 2 of my best friends tomorrow, so I'm super pumped for that. And I'm also grateful for the mountain of work and editing that I'm trying to catch up on. So with that in mind, that's enough for now. I'm going to give this little fella a walk, going to go and pick up my daughter from daycare, and yeah, have a great afternoon. Until next time, this has been the Breathless blog. Thanks for stopping by. See you again.